Good morning.
Hello, Suzanne. It's been a long time, my friend.
You're muted, Suzanne.
Dear Sharon.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've sat together.
I know, but our hearts have been close.
Always, always, always. So good to see you here.
Oh, so very sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you. It's a life is a journey, isn't it?
Okay. Yes, it is.
You're on your journey. Yeah, love you guys.
Beautiful.
Well, I just have to share my bouquet. I just came in from my garden, my flower garden.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I love
My
that.
dahlias just happening. Oh my goodness gracious. Butterfly
Gorgeous.
plant.
Yeah, keep them in the screenshot. A little
Okay.
more
I'm
left.
working on which. You know this. I get backwards all the time.
That's because the video goes sideways and backwards. Perfect.
Where are your roses, Suzanne?
What was that?
Where are your roses?
Well, you know the heat's on, and my miniature roses are doing great, but the English and all the old ones are. We are having a heat wave here in Idaho. It's 106, 107. It's very, very hot. I've been out every morning. I'm out around 5 o'clock watering. The joy has been my raspberries.
Oh,
I was able to get some, but even now they're dying off.
yeah.
Well, thank God it's dry heat, huh?
Correct. Correct. Humidity stuff isn't my forte.
Yeah. Well, this is fun. If everyone can unmute if you like, I think for right now we're good. We can just converse. We aren't beginning until.
Hi. I just wanted to jump in and say hi. How beautiful to feel the energy of Suzanne and Sharon and Mayana and myself. Oh, just for a moment, I'm basking in this beautiful energy. And Suzanne, your flowers are lovely. I love the colors. The dahlias are so beautiful. Yes. And you're happy. You're looking well. Lovely
Well, my
energy coming from your garden.
grandchildren are here this weekend, and so I'm just going to pray for brevity because
Yeah.
I don't get to see them very often.
No.
Yeah.
Your
I wanted
garden
to
is
just share a little tidbit when Sharon reached out in 2019 to my call. She was the one that even got me on a Zoom calls. I mean, she had to come into my computer. I was so unable to do it. And
she is for you what Mayana is to me, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then I became the Zoom queen. But let me tell you what's happening on Facebook with Global Grandmothers Council Network is totally beyond my capacity to comprehend or handle.
Well,
Oh, Michelle, you're muted, sweetie.
Sorry.
My grandmother says we're just getting started, beautiful sisters on earth. Yeah, I know. So we need, this meeting is all about getting the team of starting to fiber spirit the team now. You know, we've all got our fiber spirits flourishing. And of course, that's edified enough. But there are people that need us to keep the door open and continue with what we're doing. If we're all up for it, are we up for it?
Yes. Okay. So now we need to because we're going to be beginning, we need to mute everybody unless you're speaking. And I'm sorry, we didn't get everybody to say
Thank
hi
you.
yet, but we will do that. But the
Thank you.
recording is challenged when more than one person speaks at a time. So let's do that. We have, it's 11:02, so we're going to go ahead and start. And I'm going to turn it over to Suzanne and let her bring us in.
Well, it's wonderful. Whoops. It's just tremendously wonderful to be able to sit here and maybe form words. And I know that anytime I join together, I like to do a little prayer. And the one that is most familiar is the tree of life breath. And so remembering how to get into our tree pose where we allow ourselves to be a bridge from above to below and below to above. And that we allow that at our heart, our tremendous center of all times, that all our efforts are for the highest good, for all our relations on earth, whether it's nature or family or culture. And that on this day, it's a liberation day because our ancestors' prayers are being answered by we who are showing up, standing tall, willing to have voice, and willing to believe in the sacred embrace that we're protected from the all around us to our very center. And that we have this wonderful capacity right now, like the heated bolts of lightning, of sun energy, that any of the naysayers, the harmful projectors, the ones that so much have put us in places that we no longer choose to participate with. So on this day, for the highest good for all our relations, may peace, may love, may respect, may kindness, may our advocacy for the children be amplified. I thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. And I'm as we're gathered here, I'm just enjoying your faces and seeing each one of you, and we will open up the floor one at a time here. And I'll let Michelle speak first, and then we'll go to Grandmother Sharon.
Oh, it's good morning for me here. Good evening, good day. Hello, welcome. And here we are convening for our first committee circle. This is sublime. Dreams manifesting fibrous actions. And here we are. What a privilege to be speaking in between the two that held the space open for me to jump in and from here find my counterpart and buddy. Mariana, and develop it from there. So Sharon, please welcome, accept my our welcome and our love, and thank you, Suzanne, for your beautiful benediction and opening. It's superb, sacred air that we breathe, and yes, Sharon, thank you, and thank you, Mariana, and thank you all.
Sharon Raji Maynard here, and so glad to be back with Suzanne. It's been a while since we've been in Zoom together, although as she says, our hearts are never far apart. She doing her part, my meeting on my part. And I know from the little I've read of what those have been sharing, we have women who are so wise and experienced and competent, showing up for the next unfoldment and calling of grandmother. So I'm just honored to be with all of you here, holding you in support and anchoring us in the foundation that is our home. And pass it back to you, Mariana.
Thank you. And I want to say Carol Daniel really wanted to be here, but she also is in Australia and could not make the 1 a.m. time that Michelle is dealing with. So I'm just to move from here. Susan, would you like to go next and just say a few words of greeting?
I am very grateful to be here and meet everybody for the first time. I felt called, almost compelled to participate. And I'm really blown away by the Facebook group. I mean, all of the different women from all over the world, and so much experience on so many different levels. And so, but I felt called to be on this Zoom meeting and to participate at this, in this space. So I'm sure I'm supposed to. That's really all I have to say right now.
Wonderful. Thank you, Susan. Debbie or Bryn. Bryn, let's go to Bryn and then Debbie.
Well, I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. I also am blown away by the Facebook group. I mean, the quality of sharing, it's astounding. And I think that the healing that's happening, I don't know if you caught that last thread where someone shared that they were feeling sad. And there was this outpouring of love for that woman. And I just love it. And I can't wait to see what we're going to do together. I'm fully here for whatever the call is, as much as I can be.
Thank you, Bryn. Thank you for being there and seeing almost immediately, and Susan Meeker as well. So beautiful, Earth Angels. Thank you both. I have to say thank you.
Debbie, Deborah, would you like to go now? Say hello.
Thank you. Recovering from a little oral surgery yesterday, so I won't be as verbose as usual, but I'm in Atlanta, and thank you. I'm just always in service to the grandmothers, always in service to the elders, and I'm grateful. I made that post that grandmother Suzanne reposted. That thing has had 366 likes about we need a community, we need the elders, we need that guidance because we've lost our elders, and we've in a lot of ways lost respect for our elders. And so I'm really glad to see this group coming back. I'll be here every possible time and in every possible way I can help.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you for the healing you bring to and heal well with your throat, your chakra. Yeah.
Thank you. And as Bryn was speaking about the post, I wrote down her name. Tiffany Evans in Wales was the woman who posted, and this is exactly why we're here. And yes, the youth, and I feel like my generation was not taught to respect our elders. We put them in nursing homes and called them senior citizens and didn't value them. And I did not have elders in my life. And I am so grateful to be here with you all now. And I know I'm just a baby here. I'm 66, so I'm just, just just a baby, but I'm so grateful for you all. And I believe we have Alicia. Alicia is Suzanne's daughter-in-law. Is that correct? Would you like to speak in, Alicia?
Yes, Alicia, whoops.
Yes,
Go ahead,
hi.
Alicia.
Okay. Hi, everyone. It's very nice to hear from you all, and I'm grateful to Suzanne for letting me join this meeting and listen in and provide any input I can. I'm on off camera because we're traveling, and Suzanne's grandkids are kind of in the background, so I'm gonna stay off camera, but it's very nice to be here.
One of the things that is in my life is that my son and daughter have my back, and regarding some of the topics at Facebook about politics or the hate or my peaceful practice. Alicia has a lot of background with Facebook and can maybe offer us some wisdom. Thank you for being here, Alicia and Nathan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So as we've come together this morning, and that I'd just like us to take a deep breath together and just spend a moment in silence. The weaving through our hearts, as Michelle speaks of the fibrous network. Michelle and I have been in communication morning and night, and throughout the middle of the night for her. I don't get on in the middle of the night for me, but we have been in close heart bonding communication as we are weaving this network of light and weaving other networks of light together with ours, because each one of us bring a whole plethora of connections, wisdom, work we've already woven into consciousness. And Michelle and I had a call yesterday with Sharon, and I want to share, and I'm going to let Sharon share, but she was speaking of the mycelium and speaking into the mycelium and how we are creating. What we're doing here, as we all know, is laying a foundation. And I see it as, because I've done grid work, I see it as a grid of spheres, and they're overlapping spheres, and everything we do ripples out like waves on the water and affects everything. And this field, this space that we are creating within is necessary for lasting change to grow. And this is our garden. This is where we're planting seeds and where we're nurturing seeds and where we're weeding out. And it's vital that we weed, and it's vital that we plant the right seeds in the right places next to the right other plants. And these opportunities that we have here is, that one time I received a message from the mountains in Utah that take care of the big things now, because the time will come when only the little things matter. And these are the little things. The seeds are the tiniest things, and they matter the most. The seeds we put into this culture, into this consciousness field, are vital to ensure that it can multiply and grow like the yeast in bread, or like a kombucha.
And pure, clean environment, in health, in the best environment possible, and dipping its growth into all of the elements that are available to it for its purest, biggest, heartiest, best self. Isn't it? Yeah, I had to jump in and join you, Mariana.
So I'm gonna ask Grandmother Sharon to now share what she has suggested for how we move forward as a group and as a council, I want us to be considered a global council here, and we each will speak into that as we weave ourselves together. And I want Sharon to now guide that.
I want to first of all acknowledge who you each are to the degree I know you to know you and sense you. So I am speaking to the choir here, I think. First of all, I'm just going to share some of the experiences that I've had that I think will apply to where we are here in the global grandmother group. First of all, there's a model that has been used by Gather the Women internationally that takes it from a hierarchical, and you're not doing hierarchy, but making sure that that you are in a collaborative model, and the collaborative model is something that we can learn from each other and have it from the beginning point. So that's one thing. The other thing I wanted to share was that Suzanne and I and Brooke, we had spoken, maybe not written agreement type things about the values that we felt the grandmothers could bring to the table. But you're at another level, gathering more individuals, grandmothers, wise women, etc., of all ages. So I suggested that you may want to have a meeting or two where you invite anyone who is interested in this work to come together in a Zoom call to determine the values of this group. Not one value. In 2011, I was just astonished at the political run that was going on here in the United States at the time, because I knew the value that women are in world, in governments, in policies, and creating culture. No candidate was calling a woman group together to say, what do you women want? What are your values? And so my team, spiritual team, said, well, why don't you do it? So I sent out a call in 2011 for women who are interested to gather in Seattle, Washington, to do a grassroots women's congress. And our whole intention was to say, speak and anchor, these are the values that we as women say must foundation life. You see, and it was quite a process. I asked them, we had 12 big pages, how we used to do it on the walls. And 12 pages of values, and I'm wanting to suggest they now take the values and condense them maybe down to maybe 2 pages, which they did. But when we came into that consensus model we were using from Occupy, we had agreed at the beginning that if we didn't have 95% consensus on the values, they would be scrapped. They had to be that high, or they would be scrapped. So we brought the condensed values for discussion, and immediately one woman off to the side said, this is what happens to me in my corporate work. They ask for my views, and then they just ignore them. Okay. Had a Black sister who came to the front, and she said, this is what happens all the time with my people. You ask for what we want, and then you ignore them. And so. And one woman said, my voice is lost. My voice isn't there. So I said, got it. Scrapped those condensed values. And we went back to all of them. I mean, a list of them. And they could have been, brought together. But they insisted that their voice had to be heard the way they had put it on that paper. And then we had 98% consensus. So those values, the vision of the values, the declaration of the values, and the mission of the values, foundation right now, your country, even though most people are unaware of them. So what are the values that that people are attracted to you? What are their values? And it isn't one, I guarantee you. So I suggest that you consider, and I'd be more than happy to either lead it or co-host it, a few gatherings, because you have so many people, to come up with what are the values that this council, that this grandmother group is going to hold at moving forward, because that becomes, in the Iroquois nation, that becomes good mind. You always bring it back. Your policy, does it match? Your projects, does it match? Does your action, does it match? You have something that is foundational as values. The next thing is then the outcome that you want. That's a different thing, but they come from the values, you see. So that was one of my suggestions. The other thing I shared yesterday is that in February 2003, I was asked by Gaia and my women team Friends in Spirit to look at the fungi mycelium. And you probably are aware of the mycelium of the fungi. The fungi mycelium holds life. Wherever there is a destruction, it's the fungi that brings back the life, that makes the connection, that shares the support, that gives the information, all within Gaia. And they said the wisdom of women has been so crushed, so diminished, so made wrong, that the mycelium of the wisdom of women is non-existent.
Wow.
Non-existent. We want to, in this time, to begin planting and growing the mycelium of the wisdom of women. So we did, I had several Zoom calls in which it was a very specific thing we did. We gathered, we called in Gaia, we called in, as Suzanne does, we called in and created a sacred space. And the women who came, their instruction was this: you have wisdom, you have a blessing, you have a dream, you have a vision. There's something that you have through your experiential life that it needs to be held within Gaia. And so they were each given, depending on how many women in the circle, they were given anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 minutes to speak into the circle that my vision and gift for my children is this, or my grandchildren, or my experience. And they spoke for that amount of time to just plant it into the earth. We held the space, the field received it, and we went to the next, and to the next, and to the next. And we were simply holding the rim of the field, blessing it, hearing it, but knowing that it was a field that received it and held it. And it was not to network, it was not to talk about with each other, it was for the field planting. And we've done that on a fairly regular basis from that point on. And so that's something I just wanted to make you aware of and participate in when you're ready and if you're ready. And then I just want to, again, go back to Mayanna. When I was in a gathering of Indigenous elders last March here in Nauvoo, Illinois, I had never been in a gathering of elders. I've gone to other ceremonies they have, but I've never been in that kind of a gathering. So I'm a white woman. I'm used to going to a conference, a gathering, and here's the list of presenters, and then we talk between, and then presenters and we talk between. So I have never in my life, and I'm 83, I have never in my life experienced what we call the respect for elders. It was amazing. It was palatable. Even though I knew very, very few people there, there was just that energy of respect for the elders that then rippled down. So and it wasn't, they weren't the presenters necessarily. Somebody would come up, I began to notice, I understand how they do things differently because nobody explained it to me. I had experienced it. A young person at any age would come up to an elder and say, I want to hear your stories. They didn't know them, but they wanted to hear their stories. They'd go over and sit on the grass, and the elder would begin telling the stories. Pretty soon there'd be a gathering around. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your stories. And so I think that also is something here you are at the beginning. You can weave so many wonderful things from your knowledge and your experience into the foundation here. So that's what I would like to share, passing it back to Mayanna.
Thank you. Yeah. I can see so much growing out of this. I can see books and, books of our stories and books of poetry and prose and films. You know, Michelle introduced us yesterday to the producer and director of The Time of the Sixth Sun. And yeah, and the go ahead, Michelle. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, Nikki Luna Magdalena. It took 11 years for her to get the film out, but she stayed the course. It was through her that I was awakened to the fact that I needed to research further into my own grandmothers and my own inherited stories. We will be talking more about that later. But yes, we see, as Mayana was saying, books, poetry, the cottage industries in localized areas, so many facets of that. Obviously, events.
Suzanne's wanting to speak.
But yeah,
I think for the sake of clarification, what's occurring on Facebook is a whole what works within Facebook. But what I hear you're speaking to, Michelle, is the global website that's being developed. That's where the stories. One of the things that, and I'm glad Alicia's on the phone right now, even though we're advocating for grandchildren on Facebook, it is not safe to post pictures of our grandchildren. Alicia, can you just speak about why we have to be very careful?
Yeah, definitely. So just a little bit of background. I have worked twice for Meta, the parent company of Facebook previously. And so I have a very good understanding about the algorithms and the, I guess, the bad people that are on Facebook, because it is an open platform. And of course, every parent, caregiver, or grandparent may have a different understanding of what is acceptable for putting our children, grandchildren onto a social media platform. And of course, whenever you post anything, that can get out into the wrong hands, and we obviously do not want that. So that is something to be mindful of. And thanks for bringing that up, Suzanne. But I guess just hearing everybody speak, it's just so profound. And myself being part of I'm part of a board for a co-side mothers group here, and we think about certain things, but the level of wisdom that you all have is just amazing. I think some input that I could provide is, yes, having those values and the rules for the Facebook group, but also having, some way to kind of weed out some of those people that may not be on that group for the right reasons, and having some gated content, and maybe that's on the website, that could help with making sure that there's only the quality content, and is for those people that maybe are willing to be like a member, or some way to have some gated content where you would have to be proven to be accepted into that platform. So Suzanne, I don't know if there's something else that you wanted me to speak to about that.
Yes, I do. Staying on the pulse right now, Project 2025. We have we have a political discussion about Facebook, our global Facebook site, and politics. Already I'm getting input from people that they're getting notices from Facebook that they're slanderous by posting Project 2025. Do you have any input on how to keep our Facebook page free from being scolded by the standards that Facebook is keeping?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. They've had their hand slapped in the past, right, about allowing politics on their platform. And so I think they're being extra careful and extra cautious. And sometimes Other people can flag content, other members can flag content, and their algorithms can also flag content. So generally, it's a good idea to stay away from anything politics related and taking a specific stance. That's the only thing that I can say about it, especially if it is a public group. You just want to be mindful of that, and especially for the admins of the group, if you notice that somebody is posting something like that, it needs to be shut down, and I guess be consistent with that to align with the values of this group. So yeah, it's always just a good idea to stay away from politics in such a public forum.
Oh, thank you. Alicia is the person I'd like to see representing who's doing the work, the younger generation, because I know with your background, we have very few people, grandmothers, that are coming from similar backgrounds, and so thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
I wanted to add one other thing. Thank you, Alicia. And I think that what's so valuable is once you have gotten those values in place, the outcomes you are wanting in place, then whatever pops up, whether it's an idea for a project or a problem may need a solution, you've got something to gauge it against. And also you've got policy to put on your Facebook page. And if you need more monitors to help keep that Facebook page clean and clear, then that would work really well. The other thing I want to point out too, and again, speaking to the choir, but just wanted in this meeting, is that what's going to happen when women who have been silenced or afraid or whatever find a place where absolutely they can start speaking and sharing and being rather honest with themselves in whatever fashion they do, that what's going to happen with some is that their old trauma, negative stories are going to come up. And so I want to also emphasize what has been spoken before, that not only the options for personal healing, but also generational healing, back in time to when I work with generational healing, we go back to the original clan 600,000 years ago. So there's ways out there, I'm sure, that you'll find in this community as they come together that have those kind of expertise. And I would encourage you to have ways to make that accessible to the healing that will come when new stories are brought to the fore.
Exactly, Sharon. One of my dear friends who's 85 recently spoke out saying, nobody believes me. And we've had a discussion that on our global website, that there are many that are able to be there for the ones that are sad or the ones that nobody's believing. And that's one of the things I'm really excited about, is that we are dreaming that already. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michelle, you had something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I was inspired through my own self-healing. That's how I'm here today. And it's a travesty that so many of us women are damaged to the point of, well, we don't get electric shocks, but I was in a hospital once where women were receiving that. It's been a very rugged journey for us, and for us that have survived to this point and now are finding voice. And I love it. That Sharon refers to as talking to the choir. I'll run with that, because yes, we're virtually trying to harmonize our voices, collective voices, internationally and on a massive global scale. And we're only at sort of 3% of the vision that I have for this whole global movement that is not political. It's love artists, it's community women. And so, yes, to protect, guard, shield, and covet this like a newborn infant as its naissance, as its birth is coming and it's taking its first, hasn't even really grasped its first breath of air. it's still in the birth channel, and so absolutely crucial. Mariana and I made a short list too of other things that would be worth tabling, but it's so lovely to hear Sharon. So I'll just go back to Sharon because she may have some other things to add before we, yeah, thank you.
I'm really complete with what I wanted to lay into the field. Thank you, Michelle.
Okay, so
Sharon, can I ask you a
Pleasure.
question?
Yes,
I don't know if I'm
Yes, you may. Certainly, certainly.
I wanted to get a little clarification with about your meaning when you were speaking to those that are on the Facebook group that have the skills or feel the calling to respond. Could you elaborate on that a little bit? Because I'm not sure if you mean, find them and then refer these people outside of the Facebook group to them, or if you want, how do you envision that?
I'll just say for the last 6 months, my daughter has been doing a cancer journey, and for the last month, we have been working to recover, and she made her passing last Sunday. So I have been very, very more of an observer of what's going on. But what I have been reading are the introductions, and I think some of you have been doing that, introductions into the message board. So I'm speaking to what I'm reading from those who have said, introduce myself, this is who I am, this is what I've been doing, etc. And I'm going like, you women are amazing. So I'm just speaking to what I have read as introductions through the message board rather than the outreach. I know, as you do, the organization goes the way of the leaders. And
Yeah.
those of you who have come together today have that level of interest in the leadership, in the holding of the leadership. And you're the ones I've been reading your stories, introductions, and I'm going like, you are amazing. You are amazing. And you hold that amazing from your experience, from your wisdom, your healing. And that's what will attract and is attracting those who are coming.
I see. Thank you for clarifying that.
So in the Facebook group process, we are not marketing anyone's services, and we've made that real clear from the beginning. Now, we need to have some conversations though to take action. The members want to take action. They don't want to just sit and watch, although they're being encouraged and they love that. They still want to take action. And I think Zoom calls are a good way to move away from the Facebook into the action items. And we could do so. We have Teresa Babylon, who helped put the website together and is offering to do some calendars for Zoomers. And we could have a Zoom conversation about government structures and what we need to do and how we can take action. We can have a Zoom's conversations about the generational healing. And I know
Global healing.
Deborah did one for the 7/7. And we've got 8/8 coming up pretty quickly here now, just a couple weeks. And
Mariana, would you elaborate what you were saying about Facebook and Zoom, that they don't interface? And so these Zoom calls would be outside of Facebook?
yeah, Zoom calls are outside of Facebook. I noticed when we did our first Zooms and we went live on Facebook with the Zoom call that it was so far down in the algorithms that nobody was seeing the post. So it's not helpful to go live on Facebook in Zoom. We can go live on Facebook and only stick to the subject matters of the open group and just, get to know each other and share conversation. We can do that live on Facebook. Maybe Alicia can guide us on how to do that and have more than one person in the call. But if we go to Zoom outside of Facebook and upload it to our YouTube and then post it as a post, that seemed to be more effective than going live on Facebook. Alicia, can you
Mhm.
speak to that?
Yeah, no, I think what you, I hope I heard everything. Yeah. Okay, shh. Yes, so that sounds like a great strategy. Definitely if you have those meetings on Zoom and post-its, I believe you can also pin to the top of your Facebook page that link if you want more people to see it. And always, whenever people comment and like on that post, the more it gets surfaced to other people, and the algorithm will pick up and keep it kind of high in the search results and also on your page. So that would be what I recommend. But what you just said, Mayana, is that's a very good strategy.
Thank you. So there are some issues that I know all of our hearts are really close to what's happening in the world around us. And we can't just come together just to bond as grandmothers. We're coming together as wisdom council to guide people. And so, that means, there are some actions we can take on the ground. We've seen, the Women's March did wonderful things a few years back, but there haven't been anything happening for several years now. And since COVID, there's been a lot of fear raised up. And, one of, with Peace Production, one thing we did during COVID was, we noticed how quickly fear goes viral. And we're like, well, let's make love go viral. And we made bumper stickers and made a little hashtag, make love go viral. And just wondering, how do we make love go viral is faster than fear going viral.
Yeah.
And those are things. Yeah, Susan, you have something?
One of the things that I'm hoping happens is I live in Duanesburg, New York, which is about a half an hour west of Albany, kind of in the middle of nowhere. I moved here at the very end of 2018 with my sister, who is now living in a senior living community. She's disabled, to be closer to my kids and my grandkids. And then COVID happened.
Mm.
So I don't know. The only people I've really met here are my landlords and friends of my kids. And they're in their 40s and they're wonderful. And what I'm hoping is that we can connect somehow with grandmothers, wise women, who live closer to where we do, so that we have, a global network and national networks and then regional networks, because the circle that you were talking about, Sharon, and planting the seeds in the fungi, the mycorrhizal fungi in Gaia, that is something that I had a women's circle in Maine when I went to Maine, which is where I moved here from. And it was very powerful. And I'm going to be going back there again next month with my anointing oils. And I was thinking, I made notes that when we get together in a circle again, that's what I'm going to propose that we do. And if we did that in our, regionally, in our local places, I can just imagine, I can feel in my body right now, I can feel the life that we will be planting, and that it will, it's not just the mycorrhizal fungal in the earth. It's everywhere. It's the whole universe. It's this, yeah. So that's what I'm hoping, is that we come together here, and then we also do things locally, and that way we actually have the support and the growth that we need.
Can I speak to that, Susan? I totally agree, because I was saying yesterday, I don't want to be in a group that just talks and shares information. That's very valuable, but I want to be in a group where there's action taken, experience going on, ceremony. The model I have loved in nature is the starlings. The starlings have a field, their tribe. They do not fly behind a leader. They fly and then they murmurate.
Yeah.
And out they go. They don't unplug from their tribe that they have an idea. I want to dance this way. Who wants to dance with me? And then
Mhm.
they come back, and then there's another, and it's the murmuration. I think it's a great model for how women do things. Here's our field, and I spoke mostly to how here's our field. That's the beginning place, the field, and the support is the field, because from the field, then will be the murmurations, the books, the tours, the local councils can happen, and in a supportive, unified way, even though each is a little different dance.
Mhm.
So thank you. I love that, Susan.
And Michelle, you have your hand up.
Yeah, just following up from what you were saying there, Susan, that the global going into small communities, breaking down this energy, which is, yes, absolutely with you on the feeling of it. We I think we're all sensing that, and that's what's so exciting. But to bring it back, harness it into a formula that would work in the local communities around the 30 countries that we've already got a hold of. These women, some of them are really ready and are starting to create little meeting places and starting to act on that. But that is the whole idea, is to be supportive members, contributing our wisdom, our faculties towards this sunset of our lives, where we're all raging at the dawn of the new of passing, over. And whilst we're doing that, we're creating a future, and that's why I totally agree with Sharon. Lovely to chat, nice to catch up, great to see your grandkids, and yep, good. We're all here for that purpose. Let's see what we can do with the energy now, and imply, no, not imply, but build the concept in reality, fibrous and step by step. So today there were some things that we were going to perhaps look at and table that would be congruent with what Susan and Sharon have just said. I don't know. Have you got that list, Mayana? I have
Yeah,
a couple of down.
yeah, I have a list, and I want to bring us back to that. Our whole
you.
purpose, through the original purpose here, was to be a network of local councils. It's
Correct.
not just a network of individuals, it's a network of grandmother councils on the ground. And with
Starlings.
yeah, with this Facebook page, and considering people's security and their safety, and being able to share where they are and gather together, this is a concern for security of our members. How can we gather people together in a location without putting people's lives at risk? Yeah, Suzanne.
For those of you that know, my capacity to sit and hold form for over half an hour is very challenging. So I feel my time to be online is just measured in minutes right now. And one of the reasons Alicia's on the phone line, having my back, it regards the Peace Productions sponsorship of the Global Grandmother Council Network website. And I'm not going to go into great detail about the peaceful practice, but my memory holds that as we open up this website, that the peaceful practice, the video, the book, the classes would be featured. And so Alicia asked me, what's going to guarantee your copyright, your safety, what's the wording, Alicia, that you were asking me about?
Well, I I think you have such great content and it's exclusive content. And, I think it should be shared with people, but making sure that it's, the right people. And it's very valuable, and the little amount that I have seen, there's just so much wisdom there. And I was just thinking, I guess the purpose of this group, this Facebook group, and it evolving into something even bigger, and thinking about, okay, well, you have a public Facebook group, but then, there are the select, portion of those people that want more. They want to be a part of a local group, or they want more valuable content. So there's maybe tiers of membership that could be used, the open public Facebook group. And then when on the website, you could, opt into being a part of a different group, or find your local tribe, if you will. And it's a little bit more gated and qualified people, qualified content. But, seeing as this is, I believe, a nonprofit, I'm not sure what, limitations there may be in terms of monetizing, different membership levels. But that's just something that crossed my mind, is that's a really good way to make sure that you weed out some people that maybe just want to see the public posts and have inspiration, but then also, for the people that really want to be in person, and attend local events and see that exclusive content from people such as Suzanne, that, there's a different level of membership, perhaps paid membership. And especially with 30,000+ people, it's, there is something there that I can see, but I just don't know the limitations as a nonprofit.
Yes,
So-
and
so-
Alicia, was intention that these global, local circles would have their own page to market their own stuff. And so I'm going to go back to the clarification point, is guaranteeing the safety of those who put their stuff, art, whatever, on the marketplace at the circle level. Diana, I can see you're waiting to step in.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just share how I see this. I've been a nonprofit consultant for many years, and we have an excellent lawyer in Oregon who helps us with this. And the way I've envisioned this part of it is that the Global Grandmothers Council Network has the grand site, and a portion of everything that comes through goes to the program. Each individual person who brings their wisdom will be a member. So the local councils, each local council would have a membership that would just be, to cover the costs of hosting the website. And we don't want to make it a large amount, and we'll determine based on what comes through how much that needs to be, but an annual fee to maintain each local council's presence. The local council then has their members, so they can link to outside pages for their members' work. And they can have blogs, they can have trainings, they can have communication channels. The public can read some things, but to interact, you have to pay a membership fee. So, and there will be different levels of membership fees depending on how many local councils you want to be able to see, maybe. Do you want to see all of them? Then if you want to have access to everything, it's one fee. If you want to have just in one country, it's this fee. If you just want to have your local, it's another fee. Then the sales and the services that grandmothers bring, that money goes to them. That's the whole thing, is we need to provide for the most vulnerable members of our society, who are our grandmothers. We are, the gifts that the grandmothers bring, that income needs to go directly to them. And having the nonprofit and the transparency of that ensures the integrity. And this is really, really important to my heart, that
Yeah.
these teachings, Suzanne's not giving up her teachings to anybody. Her teachings go on there, and everyone who purchases or engages or gets trained, that money goes to Suzanne. Anything anybody brings forth, the money goes to them. The membership fees pay for the organization to operate the website. And we need grant funding to be able to ensure the security of that, because there's the need for great security. So we're not going to have just a WordPress website or anything like that. It's got to be a real professionally built security. Yeah, Sharon?
I want to point out a concept that you're speaking to, but I want to point it out because it is a principle that has been crushed. There is, in our culture of dominators today, and for many, many years, it has been proposed that those who act on their God-given gift, should be giving it free. That has been in the mind of humanity, planted there by those who would control. And so that's why I want to make it very visible. It was always intended, from my teachers, it was always intended that the way we would be resourced on this planet to do our work was from the ideas that we made visible. The gifts that we made visible coming from the unseen, or God coming from the unseen, were the very, very things that were intended to resource us in our walk on the planet. So that's a principle. I absolutely am in total agreement. It's not because the grandmothers need it. It's because we need to change and bring back that truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, my heart is to, and I said it in the email, there is a percentage of what comes through any fundraising and any activity that Peace Production, as the overarching, overlighting organization, we file the taxes, we have the lawyer, we make sure everything is legitimate and transparent, show, if anybody asks, here's our books, that we need to have a small percentage come through. And I never ever have set that number for anyone who comes into our organization. I ask the group to set a number, and I'll say that the last organization we brought in, Healing Springs Foundation, they're just getting started, and there was another little group in North Carolina just barely getting started, and we said 1%. That's what they said. That's what they offered, 1% that would grow as they grew. And because and never should it go over 5%. I think, they never should grow over that, because the administration, it's not like we have a corporate headquarters that we're, paying lots of people to, for jobs. That's not the point. We do have people that will need to do things, but all of the work together, so
Yeah.
let me pause for a moment. I
Can I just
value everyone's wisdom,
Mm.
and I know I don't have all the wisdom, but I have the structure and some skills to help make the foundation real and solid and bring this to be. We have $1,500 in the GoFundMe. It's not transferred yet into Peace Productions bank account. That will be around the 25th of this month. They do monthly transfers, and when that goes into the Peace Production bank account, which is an Oregon credit union, we can then open a bank account for Global Grandmothers Council Network. And when we open that account and we decide where does that account want to be founded, does it want to be in Boise because that's where Suzanne is? Does it want to be in Virginia because that's where I am right now? Does it want to be in Oregon because that's where our corporate headquarters are, at our lawyer's office? Or, that's something for us to decide together. And I value the co-creative process. I have been guided very strongly that nothing that we do is on our own. And even trying to produce an event or something, Peace Production has not been doing them on our own. It's always co-creation, collaboration. We need everybody that we can bring together to create those strong bonds that are sustainable and lasting.
And to resonate the truth of the vision and actualize it, and to be a pool of resource globally, in fact, and have that information to hand on the beautiful website that we're going to get, because the money is coming in for that. But yes, it's such a beautiful vision.
Samara Shaw, which I'm sorry she's not here today. I was hoping she'd be here, has connected us with, is it One World Davis or One Divine Davis?
Her name's One Divine.
One Divine Davis.
I know both of them. Wonderful women.
Oh, yeah. Good. And she said that they've been structuring a platform just like this. They've been envisioning it for many years. Apparently, they're in Mount Shasta, and Mount Shasta is an integral part of who I am, and I think who the whole world is as our foundation. So we'll be speaking with them about what it will take to get that site together. We've been connected on a messenger and we haven't scheduled that conversation yet, but we will. And I'd love to hear now. I'm going to just be quiet after I've said all that, let you.
I'll say one more thing and then I see Suzanne's hand going up. And as you're referring back to our vision, I want to just put on the table an offering. If you would like to consider having 1, 2, or 3 or more, they're fairly soon, because you're ready to roll calls where women can speak what their value is and then what their vision is. It's not the mycelium, it's to create the value set of those who are attracted to this group, what they're willing to hold for themselves, for the group, and the outcome that they see that value bringing. And I'd be more than willing to work to find time that I'd be willing to host or co-host. I just want to put that on the table.
Thank you so much, Sharon. That's beautiful. Thank you.
I just am tears of joy melt from the inside out. And wow, we're doing tremendous gifting. Our ancestors are celebrating with us. And we're doing tremendous envisioning, and our grandchildren are cheering us. And I am going to leave the call right now. And Alicia, I thank you so much for taking time to counsel. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. I am also going to jump off right now, but thank you all so much. It was very nice to meet you.
Thanks for your help, Alicia.
Thank both of you.
Thank you so much.
Really beautiful. Lovely to meet you and lovely to have you here. Yeah. Welcome and thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so here we are. So I would love to hear now from Susan and Debbie and Bryn in response.
Yeah.
What are we contributing here? What would you like to hear?
A response to what has happened thus far.
I'm delighted. I because of my own background, my biggest concern is safety and protection for the people of the group, the people of the Facebook group. I know for me, I did that healing on Zoom, that healing session on Zoom. I would never Facebook Live that in a public group. It's just not safe.
Yeah.
So those are my most important concerns. And I love the idea of the local groups. I was the one who sent that thing in that you read, that I'm in Atlanta, I'm in the Southeast. I would be happy to be the conduit. I have 100-person Zoom room, which we can talk about because I don't think we need to do the idea that you're talking about where you spend all that money for Zoom. But
No, yeah.
I don't know ceremony so much. I don't know what I would do. So if I had some guidance from the leadership about how I could produce something in Atlanta or whatever, that would be helpful for me.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'm delighted
Some,
to do it. I'm kind of a, I want to say I'm kind of a background person. That's kind of not true either. I have done leadership for sure. So we'll just see where I'm supposed to land, but I'm willing.
Can I just jump in here and say, with regard to opening ceremony, remembering that we are a global concept, and that we would have a different Celtic, different North American, Indian, different Tongan ways, each and every one. So I think the leadership of each and every given area must respectfully pay homage to not only the land that they're having their circle on, but also the leadership that has stepped in for that given community area, and pay homage and respect to their ancestral lineage in some way, shape, or form. This is important, to pay homage to the various different streams of life that are forged in our DNA, that are bringing us together now in the mycelium of our growth. And so, yeah, just be mindful of that, and we'll see how that pans out. But thank you so much for what you've said. And it's wonderful, Debbie. It's just beautiful to have your support. Thank you. I'll sit back now too. Thank you.
I would like to, I totally resonate with where Debbie is coming from. I don't see myself participating in any live Facebook forums. I kind of see the Facebook page as I don't know, like a light out there that is an attractive force and people are going to come in. They're compelled by it, they're called by it, they're curious. And that's kind of, and then there's the website, which sounds, the vision for it sounds amazing. And that I feel really supportive of that. And yeah, I had a vision, and it's a different subject, but of a wisdom center that I felt has already existed in the past, and it's just like waiting to be brought in. And I actually saw it a couple of times and feel like I've already been there, like probably a past life thing. I could describe it. I've walked there, I've gone up the stairs, I've walked in, I can feel the energy of it. And people who are aware see it the way it really is. And people who aren't, they just see a plain place, just like, without the magic. And I see what we're doing here is, to me, feels like it's a part of that in a way, because, and part of that wisdom center in my vision and in my memory was almost like an underground railroad of protection for people who know things, who have knowledge and wisdom that is ultimately that is now already starting to be considered dangerous, but it's going to be even more considered dangerous. Because I feel like we are moving into really dangerous times, not just climate-wise, but also politically and otherwise, regardless of what happens here in this country in the United States in November. It's happening. And so a part of what I would like us to be aware of, maybe in the background or something, is this level of safety and protection for people who need it. You know, as the Underground Railroad helped, you know, African Americans and people who supported African Americans get to safety. I feel that very strongly. We're going to need some version of that at some point in the hopefully distant future, but maybe not. I don't know why I felt like I needed to say that right now, but I did. It feels like it's a part of it, a part of what we've kind of been talking about or around a little bit.
Yeah, and one thing Suzanne had said early on was, you know, she had a friend who called her that said, nobody believes me, and she's experiencing elder abuse, and no one believes her. To have a call line or a chat room somewhere, somehow that's safe and secure, where people could come and be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, you know, there could be someone referred locally for services
Yeah.
that, you know, and that's a bigger aspect,
Mm-hmm.
but it's something that really needs to happen eventually,
Yeah.
and maybe sooner than later, but yeah.
Jumping back in here, I've been working with healing women for many, many years, and critically important was the need for safety, big safety. I mean, really big safety. And I was made aware of that really early on. And I think part of our values is where you absolutely anchor in safety, guardianship, because there's in the unseen, there is so much available. And it's what's been missing is our authority voice as women. So we've been speaking the authority this way, which is, you know, no one's listening, no one hears you, no one believes you. But if we start reclaiming that authority voice and speak this way right from the get-go. So I think that safety is totally possible. I've experienced it for many, many years, totally possible. And it's part of the value set. I just want to reaffirm that.
Yeah. Bryn, do you have any comments you'd like to make at this point?
Oh gosh, I have so much going on. First of all, I got to apologize because I can't see everybody. I'm on my phone because my laptop went kaput. So, I think it's really good timing currently to invite individuals on the Facebook page to show up on Zoom. I know our legacy council and the emails includes originally there was like 60 or 70 of us, but there was a mention of gathering information about what people have interest in. And I noticed, I'm glad that, and I would look forward to clarifying whether there is going to be discussion politically allowed on the Facebook page, because I'm never quite sure, you know, how to respond when someone starts to kind of touch on that. But there is obvious interest right now, especially because of what's going on in America. So there could be sort of breakout groups of the group on Facebook that would keep their attention, I think, for the greater vision. If we gave them something that would be tangible for them to participate in. And Mayana, you were talking about having the various, you know, we have the Zoom calls for the ceremonies and the healing, but I think that there's room now to have a Zoom invitation for those that feel like they want to be politically active in maybe in just America. I know that there's other people that aren't interested in that, and knowing what they are interested in would help us fine tune those Zoom calls. I know Zoom is limiting because some people don't have the technology knowledge. So maybe we could also put together a group of people that would be willing to help individuals by calling them and walking them through how to set Zoom up or something. I do believe that right now, the Facebook group, I would like to see somehow either admin, the team, or Suzanne respond, or I don't know how to articulate it, but there's, I think, a need to define a little bit to give those Facebook users tangible reasons for sticking around. And by asking them what they want, it's a way we can provide something to them that would be tangible to meet that need. And, you know, a lot of it is met, I think, by people that haven't been heard in a long time. And I'm enjoying that part of the Facebook aspect of counsel, and just saying, you know, I hear you, I see you, I'm sending you love. But like you were saying, Mayana, I think there's people that are here that are like, well, is this group going to do anything? You know, what are we going to do together? I like the idea of membership. I think that the website is key, because it provides a container that's a lot safer than Facebook. And there could be public forums on the website where people are vetted. I think that it's really, sorry, I just have one more thing. I think it's really important that we're really clean with our hygiene around the way we speak of things. And, you know, there was discussion about weeding out people. And I think that I'd rather articulate that by saying, let's invite in those we want, because there are shysters and spammers and robots that we're dealing with on Facebook. But I really want to invite in, I want to have that in our hearts, that we're constantly inviting people, women. I know we have men on the group, but whoever wants to be part of it. But then a next level, which is what Suzanne was mentioning, somehow, you know, Mayana, capturing your idea of being able to ask them to produce more, to continue with this vision, whether it's monetary or showing up on a Zoom call, or somehow not just being on Facebook and being entertained.
Right, right.
Or even street rallies, or gathering in our cities.
Exactly.
Let's
The
start
local.
converging. Let's get some banners out. Let's start getting cracking. What about a grand global sit-in? I'm all for it. And if that's
Michelle,
political, take me with Jane. I'm there. And thank you, Mayana, for bringing me up to date with Jane, because Mayana and I did share a little moment there with incongruency. Because if we don't do it, when are we going to start? Let's get cracking, eh? Right. Sorry.
See, it doesn't have to happen on the Facebook page. You know,
No.
I mean, we can keep that purity of intention around what it is now.
Okay,
as we're defining, you know, the agenda for this call, was pretty specific about, you know, sort of values and understanding the mission that Suzanne presented. I don't think we really even, I mean, in our roundabout way, we touched on it, but maybe that isn't really what's being asked for right now. I don't know, because we're not really spending the majority of our time talking about that. We're kind of feeling our way through this, it sounds like, and just waiting for guidance, and from each other, but also from spirit.
Well, I was advised by my spirit guides to use the resonance more. People are waiting to hear. So I'm like, when you said that, it just triggered me over the edge. Sorry, I erupted, literally.
I love your energy.
I'm trying to be polite, and hold it back, and you know, yeah.
Well, Mayana, I know Mayana is also wanting the political action. I mean, I feel it. Okay. I think my whole reason for being here is I just really feel this call to increase the amount of loving energy, and everything in my life I try to infuse with that. It's hard because I react. I mean, the other day I was like calling someone an asshole when I was driving, and immediately I was like, that's low vibration. But there's a after all the tangible, we're talking even on this call about things that we're afraid of. And
Yeah,
in some ways we're calling that in, and it's this habit that we're
exactly.
trying to get out of, right?
Let's put up the truth of our hearts, bring them to the fore, bring the heart into the throat chakra, help Debbie heal, because she hosted a huge event last week, and of course that was her energy. She gifted us, she invited us into her psyche, her home, her whole thing, and her energy. And did we infuse her with healing? I don't think so. Did we close with sending her energy? I did, but she needed more, and she needs more.
Oh, trust
And
me, it feeds me
oh, darling,
to
I
do
love
that.
you. Good. And Bryn keeps consistently, and Mayan's holding vigil. But what about it in our own way? We don't need to network with this, as Bryn suggested. We just do our own thing, and draw some attention to the global grandmothers.
Well, one of the things I think would be really smart to do that Mayana, it seems like it might be right up your alley, but I don't see why we can't, if we make a decision as a group to not have political conversations on Facebook, provide them with a forum. And Mayana, if you have a Zoom page and that's your passion, and there would be interest in that direction, just putting it on the event page, putting it out there. And then that way we can also educate our Facebook group that type of, that this isn't really the place we want to have those conversations. If that's what we want. I'm
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes, and yes, and yes.
and I'm offering you up, Mayana.
She's feeling
it's really important that we've gone over 20, over the hour that I had scheduled, and that's okay. And we need to allow this time. I want to focus on this next week. Maybe we could do 2 calls next week with Sharon, and
yes,
do the visioning and invite
yes,
others in, that we could schedule 2 or 3 even in the next week, that different members could join. To action items, I want to do, and I started that with the YouTube songs for the grandmothers, and then
yeah, that was great. Yeah.
and Waveney Thode in Australia has started reading, and we could do book clubs, on Zoom. We could have reading a specific book and conversing, and the problem is my time. I can't do all of it. So yeah, we
Right.
have to have
the other
other people stepping up in the leadership
yeah,
to take subject matters, maybe, take politics on these calls, and take, because we do need to, then out of those politic calls, we can have, here's action we can take in our local communities. We need
for
to
example,
invite
fundraising.
people. We need to
Mayana,
invite.
would it be oh. I was just going to ask you if you think it would be a good idea to put that request out to the Facebook group, or our leaders. I mean, I don't have contact with anybody except for the few Zoom calls, that we've had, and then comments on Facebook or whatever. But and I'm really selective about who I accept friend requests from on my Facebook page, because I have a lot of personal information there. And I have received friend requests that Wavenly was one of them, that I don't know, I haven't even seen her on Facebook. And so it's my form of protecting myself on Facebook. But there are a lot of people, I'm sure, that would want to help do that work to gather members of the Facebook group to do political action.
Yeah, and so And I just want to say, Waveney, I've not met her in person, but she was part of the Children of the Sunlight team 15 years ago when we were
So I
doing.
should say yes.
So yeah, say yes. She's
No.
beautiful, beautiful.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you guys better.
Another Earth Angel.
The challenge here and the opportunity is we don't know other people. We don't know everybody in this group. And if we just open
That's
it up
right.
for anybody to lead Zooms, we don't know what they're going to be presenting and if they're in the same heart resonance space.
Good point.
So
What their agenda is.
while we're needing to take action speedily and quickly because it's happening whether we do it or not.
Right.
It's growing and it's happening and we have to slow down
Mhm.
and not move too fast because the growth is what's happening fast, but the container must not burst.
Right.
Mhm.
And how do we keep it from getting overgrown too quickly? We have to guide. We have to really, this is like, I am
Exactly.
feeling the responsibility of the position I'm in this moment. I'm feeling it
Well, we're together.
intensely.
It's you and me. It's you and me, and
Like,
it's yeah. You know, it's we only have that, and it's very very little when you look stop to think about it. But if we just keep going with what we're doing because it's been working, we'll keep it going. But we do need to let off steam, and it was really great just now to vent with Bryn, and it was fabulous. But it was a bit self-indulgent. And you know, you have to take with that what you need, but we do need to development and currently acknowledge that some of the women now have been with us, well, or I've been with it for 9 weeks or 10 weeks, so or maybe 14, I don't know, but some of the women have been with us 8 weeks or more, wondering where we're going to go, and they're still waiting on the sidelines. Again, we don't want them to slip through the net either. So we've got to continue with a balance, and I feel it's time we structured not just the talking of the website. We know that and we've got the banking. We've got a little bit of that will be happening. We could float that 1,500. I could happily float that and get it back from you guys and so we could build the website next week and load it up and get cracking on it. You know, happy to do that.
it would, yeah, it will.
It looks beautiful.
I'm sorry, what?
I just said it looks beautiful.
Looks lovely. Yeah.
I love the website.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's just a landing page.
Well,
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean.
we've got
The color palette, yeah, it's
Yeah.
enthusiasm. So
it's an
yeah.
Yeah.
So
we'll schedule, Sharon, maybe we'll get together outside of this call and put some timings down for a couple of Zooms for next week. And maybe we can, well, I'll put in writing, I'll synopsize what we've talked about here and see if we can't get some. I think a daily action item would be really good, even if it's as simple as today, who can you show love to in your community, in your world, you
You mean as a Facebook post?
as a Facebook post, and then get
Well,
people
you
to
know what we
comment
could do
back.
is we could divide them up, you know, we have it so that it's not always the same
yeah, split
person
it. Yeah.
that has to do that work.
Yeah, pass it around. That'd be beautiful. Pass the torch.
Okay.
Mayana, what kind of support can we offer you? I mean, how are you feeling? I don't want you to, I mean, you're kind of you're just doing all the you're doing everything no one else wants to do.
Yeah, and my beloved is like, you have to balance because, I sometimes have to sweep the floors and I do have to cook and, do those kind of things. I am so grateful for the moderators that have stepped up. That has relieved me huge.
Good.
That's
Well,
really
I'm happy.
helpful.
I'm getting better. I finally figured out how to delete comments.
Oh, good. And it's
So-
important not to just delete a comment from your personal space. You have to delete it as an admin.
No, I'm doing it as admin. And that it was you that,
And
you know, the
remove,
whole,
yeah.
see, because my laptop's broken, I'm working on a tablet and it's a little different. But if I mean, given all the other stuff that you're doing, I don't want you to even feel like you have to do that.
I
Exactly.
would love to not have to do that.
Don't take it off your list. Let us try to take over. And I have a lot going on in my life right now. My mom's got dementia, and I'm driving down to California to pick her up next week. But there's no reason I can't be on a Zoom call in the car. I'm driving for 2 days to get there. So, you know, I don't mind doing the moderating, and I can even up the ante and do a little bit more.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Fantastic,
Okay, so I
Bryn.
really feel like we need to close this call because it's been
Okay.
an hour and a half, and I just want to keep, and I also want to add this as we close, that time is a woman. She ebbs and she flows. And
Well, I
she's our
appreciate that you're
friend. She is working with us. She is a grandmother. Grandmother time. There's no father time. Get rid of that. Grandmother time is
Completely. Bring the
the
season
space
back.
we live within.
Yeah.
well, more calls. I think even just to connect with you guys helps me
Yeah.
this way, you know, more so.
So
Perfect.
moving
Thank
forward, we're
you.
going to schedule a couple of Zooms with Sharon and gather vision for people. And then we're going to do the mycelium on 8/8. Okay, so that's our plan for 8/8 is
Thank
we'll
you.
do some
That's it.
myceliums.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
We also
Thank you.
have to, this is the big thing, is for International Day of Peace. So we have 8/8, 9/9, and then International Day of Peace 9/21, the equinox. And this is where we want to call people to take local action in their communities.
There we go. That's the big one then. There we go.
We have time, so we have 2 months for
That's
that.
when we get the banners out. Grandmother's Global, going global. Yep. Beautiful. Love it. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
you.
you, everyone. Have
Thank you for
all.
being here. Thank you for your
a blessed
presence.
day to everyone,
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Much love.
or night.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Susan. Thank you, Sharon. Mayana Di Bao.